প্রথমে বিষয়টা ছিল যে নির্বাচনটা গ্রহণযোগ্য হচ্ছে কিনা। আমার মনে হয় যে বাংলাদেশের যে গণমাধ্যম আছেন, সংবাদ মাধ্যম আছেন, তারা সকলে খুব সজাগ। এতগুলো টেলিভিশন চ্যানেল, এতগুলো কাগজ, তাদের প্রতিবেদনে এটা বোঝা যাবে এবং আপনারা অনেক বেশি মাঠ পর্যায়ে এটা দেখার সুযোগ পেয়েছেন। ফলে গ্রহণযোগ্য কিনা রাজনৈতিক দলগুলো বলবে, নির্বাচন কমিশন বলবে, মানুষ বলবে এবং সর্বোপরি আমরা মনে করি গণমাধ্যম বলবে। What I said is the question whether it's acceptable election or not, that can be said by the election commission, people of Bangladesh, political parties, and more so the media. We have a very vibrant media in Bangladesh, so many television channels and newspapers with a varied coverages, technologically and content wise these are good. So it's not to comment for us, we only have to observe and the technicalities. Now the level of acceptability, who decides that whether the first question was acceptability, গ্রহণযোগ্যতা। দ্বিতীয় প্রশ্ন আপনি যেটা মানে ওই প্রশ্নের দ্বিতীয় ভাগে আপনি যেটা বলছেন যে নির্বাচনটা কতটা অর্থবহ হয়েছে, ক্রেডিবল হয়েছে। এখন এই ক্রেডিবিলিটির সংজ্ঞা কি? এবং আমার মনে হয় যে আন্তর্জাতিক ক্ষেত্রে এই যারা পর্যবেক্ষক তারা কয়েকদিন কয়েক ঘন্টার মধ্যে এসে কয়েকটা বুথে গিয়ে এত বড় একটা মন্তব্য, তাহলে আপনারা যারা দীর্ঘদিন ধরে গণমাধ্যমে আছেন নিজেরা দেখছেন, আপনার সহকর্মীরা দেখছেন এবং মানে দুর্দান্তভাবে মাঠ পর্যায়ে থেকে এবং এখানকার টক শো এবং যে আফটার এডিট কাগজগুলোতে সুন্দর বিশ্লেষণ হয়েছে। সুতরাং এটা মানুষের কাছে কতটা গ্রহণযোগ্য হবে এটাই শেষ কথা। সুতরাং এই অর্থবহ এবং গ্রহণযোগ্যতা এইগুলো আমাদের কাছে আমরা কি দেখেছি সেটাই বোধহয় সব থেকে বড় কথা। এবং আমার যেটা মনে হয়েছে যে আন্তর্জাতিক পর্যবেক্ষকদের আসার যে ব্যবস্থাপনা বাংলাদেশের নির্বাচন পদ্ধতিতে রয়েছে সেটা অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। কারণ এই ধরনের মানুষদের মাধ্যমে সারা পৃথিবী তাদের চোখ দিয়ে দেখে, যেমন সারা পৃথিবীর গণমাধ্যমও এসছে, পর্যবেক্ষকরাও এসছে, সেভাবে তার সারা পৃথিবীর কাছেই বার্তাটা পৌঁছেছে তারা কি দেখেছে। What I said is after acceptability it was the question of credibility. What we said that there are again the political parties, election commission, vibrant mass media and the people of Bangladesh. They are to decide, and what is the the level of credibility that has to be decided. And we people who are coming for a particular days and visiting particular places, we are more concerned about the process of election, whether the process was done according to the rules and the laws of the election. So it is up to you. It is not for some people coming for some days and to comment on something which is, it's not fair, because you have a vibrant media, you have political parties, and you have people. So it's the credibility, I think we leave it to them to judge, not to us. And what I said is the arrangement of the election, international observers' observation in the Bangladesh election rules and regulation is commendable. That through us, the international observers and international media, the message goes that how did the election take place throughout the world.
Thank you very much.
Introduce to you Alexander Barton Gray. Mr. Gray determined, is it fair, is it safe, and is it free? And our observation is, honestly, that it was fair and it was safe and it was largely free. I mean, largely safe. It's definitely fair and free that we have seen. It was very impressive the way your election commission put things together. Now, we are not partisan, and so we have to maintain our strict impartiality, impartial judgment regarding this election. Our role is just to come, to observe and report. And what I'm telling you is our report will be issued within 30 days, and it will include everything that you need to know from us, and it will also include what I think are going to be some important recommendations that we're going to make that will, I think, improve your democracy and your process.
Do you have any observation regarding
Can I just add?
Well, it's not for us to say what the voter turnout means to the international community. It's for each international community to decide that for themselves. How are we to say what a voter turnout is or should have been? That's not for us to determine. Our determination and our mandate is the election free, is it fair, and is it safe? And for our observation, I think we'll all agree that we found it to be free, fair, and largely safe. Now, we know there were some incidents that occurred, but when you have over 4,000 polling stations and you only have incidents at maybe 24, that's still relatively a low number in a safe election. And we're very proud of Bangladesh. We're proud of your military and your police, because I think your military and your police helped make it a safe election. We all felt safe here. And that's about all we can really talk about. It's not for us to decide what your voter turnout means, one way or the other. But thank you for asking.
Anyway, then what about the terms of credibility?
We are very limited to the comments that we can make. We have to maintain strict political impartiality. And we are going to make a report, and our report will be public. It will be turned in within 30 days, probably 2 weeks from now. We will give you all of our findings, and importantly, we will give you recommendations that we feel are important for your democracy. But it's very difficult for us to get too deep into the woods with you all because of our code of conduct that we have signed with the Election Commission of Bangladesh, which requires us to maintain strict political impartiality. So we've made our statement to you today, and we're going to issue a formal report that'll be very comprehensive, and this report will also include, we think, important recommendations for your democracy. And we'll make sure that that's made public and you'll all get the access to that. So I'm afraid that's about all we can say, and I apologize for that, but that's the world that we live in, and that's the code of conduct that we operate under. So I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Observed over 20 polling stations in or near Dhaka. The international community has a keen interest in and an expectation of free and fair elections in Bangladesh and the success of Bangladesh's democratic governance. This team of international observers witnessed voting from 8 a.m. until the polls closed at 4 p.m. Talking to voters in the polling stations, we found they did not face any obstacles in voting. We did not hear or see reports or indications of voter intimidation by any entity, party, or candidate. We observed, particularly outside of Dhaka, positive indications of significant voter turnout. While we did not witness instances of violence or disruption, we have seen media reports of such instances across Bangladesh, and we have expressed to the appropriate authorities our concerns. However, as stated, none of us have personally observed anything other than a fair, transparent, and accountable election in line with democratic norms, international standards, and Bangladesh's local circumstances. Attending today's press conference as part of this observer team are former United States Congressman, the Honorable Jim Bates, a former senior U.S. official, United States government official, Javier Piedra, Mr. Terry Easley, who's an Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe certified election observer, the Director of Africa House London, Mr. Richard Simatego, the political editor of the EU Reporter, Mr. Nicholas Hugh Powell, the founder and CEO of GBP International, Mr. Volker Friedrich, the president of the World Peace Organization of Norway, Mr. Anders Norden, former member of the Australian Parliament for New South Wales Legislative Council, Mr. Shaukat Muslimani, and myself, Alexander Gray, former Deputy Assistant to the President of the United States and Chief of Staff of the White House National Security Council. We would be pleased at this point to take any questions, and I know my colleagues all have important points to make. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I would like to know what percentage of voter turnout makes an election acceptable in US or elsewhere in the country. as you have seen, around
take it.
40% voters are turnout.
We are a group of international observers with diverse professional backgrounds from 7 countries.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Gray for our statement.
This group to be able to participate in and to observe your parliamentary election.